Automatic stimulus checks going forward, the latest idea being presented to the Senate and to the President. Let's talk through the details. Hey everybody, welcome and thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't done so already, or if you happen to be new here, please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video, as I am your one and only daily advocate right here on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. Let's get into the information. But first things first, a very happy and special Mother's Day to all of you out there. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you have a very, very nice day. And I hope it's a very special one at that. So happy Mother's Day. Let's get into it. So the Economic Security Project briefed a group of 50 Senate Finance Committee members talking about setting up automatic stimulus checks and stabilizers going forward. Okay, sounds pretty cool. What are the details on this? So what they want to do is they want to set up these automatic stabilizers. In the event the economy goes back into another recession, there wouldn't need to be this discussion talking about, well, should we increase unemployment benefits or should we set out another stimulus check? But rather, these would already be set up and in place automatically. So what these would do is they would be actually tied to economic conditions. So we don't know too many of the details, but I would assume it would be something tied to like the unemployment rate and things like this, but other economic conditions. So basically how this would happen is basically they would set some lines in the sand, basically saying, hey, if the economy falls into another recession and we hit an unemployment rate of blank, then basically these stabilizers will be deployed and automatic enhanced unemployment benefits, like the $300 per week that everybody's receiving right now, would automatically kick in and they would start getting that. Not only that, maybe extensions to unemployment benefits and additional stimulus checks. So not only that, what would be interesting about these automatic stabilizers, if these actually went into effect and they automatically put these in, typically what would happen is there would be built-in multiple stimulus checks. So it wouldn't be just like, hey, one stimulus check, boom, there you go, good to go, you're fine now, right? No, basically what it'd be doing is they would automatically tie all of this information, like these stabilizers, to the economic conditions. So if let's just say like the unemployment rate is beyond or above a certain range, they basically would continue to send out stimulus checks on a regular basis until the unemployment rate or all these other economic factors come back in within the parameters of what they've determined as, okay, this is a healthy economy and we don't need additional stimulus at that time. So what's actually really interesting about this is not the first time we've heard about this. In fact, last year, there was the proposal introduced by the Problem Solvers Caucus. And right in that proposal, they actually had stabilizers built into that one as well, which would have issued a second, or actually it was a third stimulus check at that point in basically March of 2021. If there were economic conditions and unemployment rates, things like that, still above elevated levels. Well, obviously we know that Congress did not move forward with that Problem Solvers Caucus proposal, but if they would have, those stabilizers would have been deployed and we would have received, stimulus check number 2 and number 3, but either way, we still received those anyway. But certainly very interesting that we're seeing all of these stabilizers and this talk coming up once again. One thing that's really cool about this, and I alluded to this just a minute ago, but in the event the economy falls into another recession, they wouldn't need to come together. Congress wouldn't need to come together and basically yell and scream at each other, argue for weeks and weeks on end, saying, let's do this, let's do that, let's not come together, all this business. But rather, it would all be basically set up already. So in the event these triggers are set off, then basically they just say, we already agreed on this. The stabilizers are going to kick in now, and we will automatically start sending out stimulus checks at, whatever rate that they've predetermined. So there wouldn't be a discussion about it, but rather it would just automatically trigger in the event the economic numbers fall within the ranges that they've set up. It's just like, bang, there you go, stimulus checks on the way. So certainly very interesting that we continue to see even more talk about further stimulus checks going forward. I know there's equally as many people out there saying, oh no, fourth stimulus check, it's not going to happen. Monthly stimulus check, not going to happen. But guess what? On the other hand, there's equally as many people coming out basically saying, hey, Stimulus check number 4 is inevitable. We just need to figure out how much, when, what's it going to include, who's it going to include, how much is it going to be, when are we going to send it out, is it going to be monthly, is it going to be a one-time, what is it going to actually include? Like this proposal we're talking about right now. If there wasn't an idea for further stimulus checks, why would we be talking about these additional proposals hitting the table right now, talking about implementing these stabilizers? If the economy was doing so great, as so many people are saying, but yet we're talking about implementing stabilizers and fourth stimulus checks and recurring stimulus checks and all this business, I don't know. Do you see the caveat here? I mean, do you see like the discrepancies that we're talking about? One hand, a group of people are saying, oh no, we're doing great. And on the other hand, basically other people are saying, no, we're actually not doing that great and we need additional stimulus. So a lot of this is coming because of the latest jobs report. People are coming out saying, hey, it's not looking so hot. We had this idea that we we're going to be creating all of these jobs, and all of a sudden it came in with a really, really bad number. Well, now everybody's looking at the situation saying, oh, what do we need to do to go forward? I mean, this is getting to be a little bit discouraging. And, of course, President Biden comes out and says, well, we're looking at the long term here. We're looking at a long-term plan, which I agree. You have to look at the long term. You can't judge everything based on a month-by-month basis. I mean, you can look at it monthly on a monthly basis just to kind of get a feel for where we're sitting. But at the end of the day, you really got to play the long game here, because realistically, turning the economy around and getting it moving again takes a very, very long time, right? It's like a big boat out in the ocean. It takes a long time to turn that thing around and make it do a 180 out in the ocean, right? So kind of the same concept is you got to kind of play the long game and look out 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, something like that, and kind of plan for that. But you got to keep an eye on the month-to-month basis of what's going on. But either way, this is interesting once again. And remember, the Economic Security Project, this is the one that I referred to at the beginning of the video. These are the people that came out calling on a fourth and even fifth stimulus check. Remember that? I made a couple dedicated videos talking about that, a couple weeks ago. But either way, these are the ones coming out saying, if we implement a fourth and fifth stimulus check, we're going to keep an additional 12 million people out of poverty going forward. So we know where they stand on additional stimulus checks. Not only that, we have all these other lawmakers who are continuing to propose additional stimulus checks going forward, as well as the recurring monthly stimulus checks, as we've talked about before. So there is so much talk right now about additional stimulus checks. Not only that, as I mentioned, this Economic Security Project, they've presented this automatic stabilizer and enhancement to unemployment benefits and these stimulus checks to go out automatically. They presented this to the president and, like I said, that group of 50 Senate Finance Committee members. But what's interesting is they're hoping, these people are hoping and kind of planning on adding this into one of the latest infrastructure packages, either the first infrastructure package that is strictly focused on infrastructure, or the second one, the American Families Plan, that is focused more on social programs. So we could actually see this added into one of these programs here sooner than later. Well, at the current rate, at the latest jobs report that we just received the other day, the unemployment rate actually went up on that report because we created so few jobs, and the unemployment actually went up. So that would actually be inching toward the stabilizer to actually be deployed. You know what I mean? So as the unemployment rate goes up, it gets closer and closer to that deployment of the automatic stabilizer that they want to put in. So, and it looks like what they are proposing is that they want to have these, the automatic stabilizer be like monthly stimulus checks until the economic conditions fall back within like the parameters that they've set. So whatever that happens to be, I'm not sure what it is. They didn't allude to anything specific, but let's just say, for example, they set an unemployment rate of, say, 7%. As soon as it hits 7%, all of a sudden they start distributing monthly stimulus checks until it falls down below, 6.9% or whatever, once again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just giving examples. But basically, I don't know, with the unemployment rate notching back up a little bit, we'll have to continue watching this thing going forward, but certainly sets up for an interesting case for additional stimulus checks, implementing these stabilizers, and potentially even those monthly payments that we've been talking about for a few weeks now. Very interesting, isn't it? So, Hope that helps you out. I will continue to watch all of this. There are so many proposals on the table right now. It is absolutely ridiculous how many things are floating around out there right now. But either way, I'll continue watching all this and I will keep you updated. With that being said, we're going to get into Corey so she can do all of the shout-outs for the day. Remember, if you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video, share this video, or check out any of my other videos here on the channel, as I have over 1,000 videos. Thank you so much, everybody. And the shout-outs for the day go to... Take it away, Corey.
We wanted to do a couple of shout-outs, and we wanted to start with Deanne Kroger, Larita Moore, Mike Wheeler, A Friend Called Five, Randy May, Fixing It Blind, and Ralph Martinez Jr. Thank you so much for being part of our fan club. We love having you all as underdogs. We are here for you, and we will continue to be here for you, and we just value you all so much. Thank you so much for joining us. I love looking at your comments. I love being here in this video with you today. So thank you all so much. Matt and I appreciate you so much. So thank you and have a great day. Bye.